Okay, session is being recorded now because I'm smart enough to do that. We are in Blackboard kind of going over some of the basics of where to find things, starting off with where to find the course calendar, the schedule for the semester. So when you go to Blackboard, if for some reason you're not seeing the navigation bar on the left, if you're on a smaller screen or something, just hover over here and this arrow will appear. And you can click on that and it'll pull up this navigation bar. Okay, so if you go to the syllabus section, there are 3 different documents there. The first one is the main syllabus that we went over on Monday. The second one is our course schedule, which looks like this. And I want to go over that with you a little bit. So this is just a calendar of everything that we're doing this semester. It does not have all of the due dates and everything in there. It's just kind of an outline of what's going on this semester, of how we're going to be working through stuff. Okay? And it should be able to give you a pretty good idea of when things are going to be due, what assignments are going to be going on. Okay? So I've got it broken down into weeks, and I did already have this made, and I had to go back and redo all the dates after we decided to push back our starting date a little bit, so that was kind of a pain, but that's all right. Our book is broken into parts. I think there's 7 total parts, and that's how I've got everything kind of laid out. You can kind of think of those as units, like you would in some other classes. So part 1 is the elements of music. It's all the basics of music, and we're going to start in on that on Friday, starting with sound, pitch, dynamics, tone, color, and then kind of going through all of those basic parts of music, elements of music. That will take us all the way through the end of week 3, and your first exam, which will cover all of part 1, will be on Friday, September 11th. Okay? Now, if you see exam at the bottom of the week, for you guys, you can assume that that means it's on Friday. All right? If I have to change the date of that for some reason, if we have something happens and we end up missing a couple days or the schedule changes or something, I'll try to let you know in plenty of time. Okay? So that exam will be, you can come and take that exam in class with your computer. Now, you have to have the Respondus Lockdown browser. So I see a couple of you are on Chromebooks, so you're not going to be able to do that exam because they don't have Respondus Lockdown browser for Chromebooks. I'm working on trying to get the computer lab next door available so that you guys that are on Chromebooks can run over there and take that exam, because that's the only thing that you can't do on a Chromebook for my class is those exams. Otherwise, I'll figure something out even if I have to give you a paper exam. Okay, I prefer not to do that, but if I have to, I have to. Okay. Now, if you have a desktop computer at home, a Windows PC or a Mac at home, you can do those tests at home. You just have to have access to a webcam, because if you do it from home, and those of you that are on the Collaborate session, I'm assuming that's what you're going to do, you will have to have a webcam, because you will have to have not only Respondus Lockdown browser, but you'll also have to use the Respondus monitor, which is part of the Lockdown browser that I have available for that test. Okay, so the Respondus monitor records you taking the test. All right, it just records whatever you point the camera at, which should be your face, and it does a setup process to make sure that it can see you clearly, that your environment is clear, that there's not somebody talking to you, telling you answers, and that you're not scrolling through your phone or looking through the textbook to find the answers to the exam. Okay, it's just a way to deter cheating. And with having so much of our stuff happening online and from home this semester, the deans and the vice chancellors insisted that we use that Respondus monitor for all of our tests. So if you're taking any digital tests from any of your teachers at home, you should be using the Respondus monitor as well. Okay, so be prepared for that. If you take it in class, you don't have to have the Respondus monitor. You'll be present in class, and you'll be clear to just take it as with the Lockdown browser, and you'll be fine. Okay. Now, if you elect to take the test at home, you'll actually have until the following Monday to turn that in. So the test will open up on the morning of September 11th, but it won't actually be due until 8 a.m. on September 14th. Okay, so that gives you a little bit of flexibility for those of you that work, that have kids. If you need to take a couple of extra days to get the test done. I'm here for you. I want to be as flexible as possible for you guys. I know that the schedule this year is a little bit funky, so we want to try to make that work for you as much as possible. Okay. Each of these is a numbered chapter. You'll notice that the chapters start over for each part. All right. You'll also notice if we scroll down to week 4, that week 4 only has 2 sections. All right, we don't have just a whole lot of information about the music of the Middle Ages or the Renaissance, so there's not a whole lot of stuff there. There's shorter chapters, and that exam is going to happen that first week. So we'll spend Monday and Wednesday talking about the Middle Ages and the Renaissance, and then that Friday we'll go ahead and take our second exam. All right, that's a pretty quick turnaround. It is the quickest turnaround that you'll have this semester, but it's really not that hard. It's not a lot of information there. Okay. For every other part, you'll have at least 2 weeks, if not 3 weeks, for some of the longer sections. Okay, does that make sense? So that's the course schedule, kind of give you an idea of what's going on for the week so you know what you need to be reading. For the most part, any assignments that are linked up with these chapters will be due on those Friday. Now, for the first unit, I wanted to give you some time to be able to kind of get used to the class and how the assignments work. So all of the assignments for part 1 are actually due on September 11th. Okay, so you've got a couple of weeks to do those early assignments. But when we get down to like week 5, I'll probably have the assignments for chapters 1 through 4 due on the 25th, and then the assignments for chapters 5 through 15 due the following week. So that'll kind of give you an idea there. All right. At the bottom of that calendar is the final exam schedule. So you can go ahead and lock this date in. For those of you that work, if it's going to be at a different time than we usually meet, that'll give you a chance to request off early if you need to. So for us, the final exam will actually be during our normal meeting time, but on December 11th. So this is Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 10 o'clock class. So your exam will be December 11th at 10 a.m. Nice and easy. The final exam will be 100 question, multiple choice, and it will all be made up of questions from previous exams. So you'll have all of the questions there for a study guide, basically. And I'll also probably make a separate, usually I make a study guide, kind of a practice test for you to take the week before the final so that you can have a chance to study and know what's going on there. Cool? Questions about the course schedule? Okay. The other document under syllabus is a course expectations document. I'm not going to go over this document. In fact, I'm not even going to open it. Just read through it on your own. It's basically just what you need to know for this class. A lot of the same stuff that's in the syllabus, what I expect, the technology that's required, and all of that good stuff. Just read through that on your own. Now, the content for this course, all of the assignments and all the other information that you need for this course can be found under course materials. So if you click in that folder, you'll actually see several other folders showing up in there. All right, these may move around. I've got to go back and resort them a little bit. I was having trouble doing that this morning. Sometimes Blackboard doesn't behave properly for me. But you will see a folder for every unit, for every part. And these will pop up as I make them available. I've got part 2 already finished. Next week sometime, you'll see that pop up because I know some of you guys will like to work ahead as you have some extra time. So I try to make those available to you fairly early. But for the beginning here, we have part 1, the elements of music. If you click on that folder, it has everything that you need to complete for this unit, okay, for part 1. I've got instructions here, and you've got your due dates there. All of the assignments for this unit are due on September 11th at 11:59 p.m. And it shows you what assignments those are. Okay? They're assignments 1.1 through 1.910, and the listening assignments 1.1 through 1.910. Okay, and I'll show you what that means here in just a second. I've also got the exam due date for that part already labeled there. All right? Now, as far as due dates are concerned, I'm going to come back to this in just a second, but you do have a calendar. If I can get it to pop up. There we go. This nav bar thing drives me crazy sometimes. You do have a calendar within Blackboard. All right? And now it's got all of my classes in here, but you can see that it shows when everything is due. So if we go over to September, notice on September 11th, because it has all of my classes in here and every assignment for every class, it's just a forever list. But you can click there and see all of the assignments that are due. You'll also notice that this DL1, Daily Listening Assignment 1, is due on Monday, and we're going to do that together here in just a second. Okay, going back to course materials and under part 1. So the first instruction is to read part 1, 1 through 10. They're not terribly long chapters. The brief edition of the book tries to keep everything pretty succinct, so it's not a lot of information. Now, you don't necessarily have to read word for word every one of those chapters, because I have the assignments for those chapters set up to follow the chronology of the chapter. It goes right along with the chapter. So as you're doing these assignments, you find the answer to that question in the chapter, and you're getting the important information from those chapters that you need. So that might save you a little bit of time. Okay? You do have access to the PowerPoint here that I'll be teaching from. It's not just the bare minimum stuff from the book. I've also got links to videos and things like that in there. And the way each of these assignments works, these assignments that have the little, looks like a test next to it, these are all multiple choice assignments. Okay? And they correspond with a part and a chapter of the book. Right? So assignment 1.1 relates to part 1, chapter 1. So everything that's in this assignment can be found in chapter 1 of part 1 of the book. So when you click on these assignments, it's actually going to pop up and look just like you're taking a test. And like I said, I've got these in the order of the chapter. So the first question is, a tone in music is a sound that, and we'll go over that in the PowerPoint, but you can also read that in your book. And you click on the correct answer there and hit Save Answer, and you can go right along. All right? Notice that there's only like 11, actually the first one is a little bit longer. It has 14 questions for the first one. I'm going to exit here. Yes, I know. It always gets mad at me when I sign in like a student. Okay. So you've got like 5 of these, and they're all, that one is the longest one, 14 questions. So they won't take you that long to do, and each one corresponds with a chapter. 1.2 is part 1, chapter 2. 1.3-4 means that that's part 1, chapters 3 and 4. There wasn't a lot of information from those chapters, so I just combined them together into one assignment so that I didn't have an assignment with 2 questions on it. Does that make sense? Okay. Now, one of the nice things about these assignments, and the reason that I do them this way, is number 1, they're self-grading, so it'll automatically show up in the gradebook as you complete them. Okay. Number 2, it will pop up a screen when you hit submit that shows you the answer that you chose and what the correct answer is. You have unlimited attempts for these assignments, so you can go back and do all of them again and put in the correct answers and get your credit for them. Does that make sense? You still have to do the work. It's not exactly a credit grade. If you do the assignment, you get the credit. You do have to get them right because it's automatic. It'll show me in the grade book. Now, the other nice thing about that is that these questions are taken directly from the exam. I took our exam, which is 50 questions, multiple choice, and I split it up into these 10 assignments. It's the exact same questions, the exact same options. The only difference is on the exam, they'll be in a random order, and the options will be in a random order. Okay, so you do have to memorize the actual answer, not just, the answer to that question's A, because A is probably going to have a different answer for you. Right? But what that means is when you get that screen that shows you the answer that you put in and the correct answer, that's your study guide. You can print that to a PDF or print it out on paper if you want, or take a screenshot or whatever you want to do, and that's your study guide for the test. You've got all that information right there so you can go back and study for the test. Does that make sense? All right. My goal is not to make this class just extremely academically rigorous. I want you to get the information, but more importantly, I want you to hear this music and I want you to have an idea of what was going on during this time. It's not about just memorizing all the facts for me. Okay, I tell students a lot of times I give tests and I give grades because I have to. Otherwise, they come and yell at me for not doing enough stuff. Okay. All right, so that's the regular assignments. And then you also have these listening assignments, all right? And the instructions for these listening assignments are as follows. Each unit's going to have a set of assignments that require you to listen to music and respond. You must submit the attached documents to receive credit for these assignments. The links to for each audio example, man, great. I did a great job this summer. The links for each audio example will direct you to a Spotify or a YouTube page. You should not need to log in to listen to these examples. If you receive an error, please email me and let me know. I actually have moved away from Spotify. There's still some of the questions that have Spotify links, but I tried to make them all YouTube because that tends to be easier for you guys to be able to access. Okay, but if it's a Spotify link and you have no way of getting to that, you can either just YouTube the title of the piece and the composer and find what you need, or email me and I'll try to get you in the right direction. So to complete these assignments, you're going to have a Word document. You're going to download that Word document and open it. There's going to be a link to a piece of music within each assignment. I'm going to show you that in a minute. You'll click on that, listen to the piece of music, answer on that Word document, all right? And you don't have to do complete sentences or anything. Just show me that you got the information. And then you're going to save that document. That's an important step. Save the document before you upload it. And then go in and upload that document back into Blackboard, into the assignment, and I'll grade it from there. These are not self-grading. I'll have to go in and grade them, but I usually try to keep up with that within a week or so of you turning them in. Okay? So what that looks like, when you click on each assignment, you'll see how many points and when it's due. You've got the instructions right there, and then you've got the document linked right there. And when you click on that, it should open up the document in whatever program you have to open Word documents. Whether if you're on a Mac, it's going to open in Pages. If you're on a Chromebook, it's going to open in Google Docs, or it'll open in Word on your computer. If you have like the open document or whatever, it'll open there. Okay. Now, one quick note, because I see one MacBook back there. Make sure that if you're doing these in Pages instead of in Word, make sure that you save it as a Word document. You'll have to go up and hit Save As and make sure that it's saved as a .doc file. If it saves as a .pages file, my work computer is a Microsoft Surface, so I can't open the Pages files. I can at home. I'll have to go to my iMac or my iPad to be able to open them, but that's a pain and I don't want to do that. So please make sure that you save them as a .doc file so that I can open them. Okay. If you don't, I'll give you a 0 on the assignment, and I'll tell you to go back and resubmit it as a .doc. Not a big deal. So this is what the assignments look like. Listening assignment 1.1, which again goes with part 1, chapter 1 of the book, has 2 pieces of music on it that you're going to listen to, and you're going to answer these questions. Most of the questions are found right there in the book. Okay. These pieces of music that I have for examples have what's called a listening outline in the textbook, and it's got all the information there. So for the Firebird suite, instruments are used in this piece. There's going to be a list of instruments right there in the textbook. Okay, and then it should show you kind of minute by minute what happens in each of these sections. It'll talk about the overall shape of the dynamics. And I know right now you're thinking, what in the world does that mean? But by the time you get to that assignment, you'll kind of understand what that means. Make sense? Okay. So you fill in the stuff, make sure you save the document, and then you will go here to where it says Browse My Computer. You'll click on that, click on the assignment, and it'll submit it up to me. Okay? If you don't save your document, when you do this, it's just going to submit back the original document that you downloaded, which will be blank. It won't have any answers on it. Okay, so double check that. When you upload the document, you should get a screen that's kind of a preview of what you uploaded. Make sure that it has your answers there. Okay. Now, I know some teachers want you to put your answers in like red text or bold or something like that. I don't care about all that stuff, but just make sure that you've got your answers there. before you finalize that you're submitting the document. Okay, otherwise I have to go in and say 0, please submit the completed document or whatever. Okay, I do grade these, I do check them, I do read through them, so make sure that you're actually completing them correctly. All right, you do have unlimited attempts on these as well. So if you mess up, if you accidentally upload the wrong document, or if you forget to save it before you upload it, you will be able to immediately fix it. And I'll just grade the latest one that you put up there. Okay? Questions about listening assignments? Yes, sir.
So I went to the bookstore and ordered a book, and it's on back order. So on the assignments, like, do I just wait to do them, or can I attempt?
Just wait. You can attempt some of the stuff now, like the first assignments, these multiple choice ones. If you open up the PowerPoint that's on there, most of the answers are in the PowerPoint. So you might be able to go ahead and start going through them. But they're not due for another couple of weeks, so your book should be in plenty of time for that. Okay, and if it's not, let me know. I mean, obviously that's an extenuating circumstance, and I'll give you an extension there. Okay. All right. So that is all of those. The next thing I want to look at is these daily assignments, these daily listening assignments. So you have regular assignments, which are the multiple choice ones. You have the listening assignments, and then you also have what's called daily listening assignments. Okay, these daily listening assignments may or may not have anything to do with what we're actually going over. They're just kind of a way to get us started in class, to get you thinking about music and answering some questions about music, and also a way to give you a few points a day just for being here and doing what you're supposed to be doing. Okay. Now, if you miss a day, you can go back and do these daily listening assignments later on, but that is on you to make sure that you get those done. They're 5 points apiece, and pretty much every day that you come in here, we'll do one of these daily listening assignments. Okay. So I'll actually have a PowerPoint pulled up in class that'll have the video in it, embedded in it, and we'll watch the video together. I'll usually start at about 2 minutes before class starts because a lot of people are here by that time already, and I'll let it go for about 3 minutes or so after class begins. Usually while I'm taking roll, once I am pretty familiar with your faces, or at least the top half of your face, and can start to take roll by sight rather than having to call every name every day. And it's kind of like a bell ringer in high school would have been. Okay, so we're going to do the first one on our own, or together, I mean. If you go to course materials in Blackboard, you should see a folder that says daily listening assignments. You're going to click on that folder, and you're going to find assignment DL1. Now, usually I will have a date attached to it also, so you know exactly what day we did that one. I just forgot to do it this time. So if you click on that, you've got your instructions here, which are to listen to this piece of music that we're going to listen to together. And then I want you to copy and paste the text below into the written response section and answer the questions there, and then submit it for grading. So you don't actually have to download any documents or anything like that. That's why you can do this one from your phone, because you should be able to do all this. All right, so you can just grab the text here all the way up to where it says piece and copy it. And then down here where it says write submission, you'll click there, and you're just going to paste that in the box. It may, if you get an error that says use Control V, then just use Control V. Yes, ma'am.
I don't have any words.
There's not a write submission.
I saw that too, and what I did was click on the DL1 button, like at the top.
Yes, that should be exactly right. If you're in the daily listening assignments, thank you for pointing that out. If you're just looking at it right here, you're not going to see that submission. You have to actually click on the assignment to get in there. Did that work? Cool. Okay. So then we're just going to answer these questions. Now, some of these questions, you're going to have to, some of them are opinions. They're kind of, how does it make you feel, that kind of stuff. Some of them are things that you might have to Google. All right, you might have to do a little research on your own. That's part of the point of these assignments, is for you to kind of practice finding information about the music you listen to, because that's important. If you find a song you like on the radio, find out when it was written, find out who wrote it. Think about things like what instruments are in the piece. That's one of the points of this class, is to get you to think critically about it. Now I'm going to pull this up on the screen and play it for the whole class, so you guys don't have to play it on your own. If you're on Collaborate, and it'll sound probably better if you just open up the link on your own and listen to it on your own speakers, but you will be able to hear it through the mic here in class as well. All right, so I'm going to click on this link. This video happens to be for a band called Snarky Puppy. It's one of my favorite modern jazz fusion bands. And this is a piece of music called Lingus. So I need to go. Going to pause for a minute. If you go back to the written response, the name of the piece is Lingus, as you can see right there. And the name of the composer, you can just put Snarky Puppy. It's the band. The composer is actually Mike Leake, but that doesn't matter as much. You can see, if you click on the description, you can see all the instruments that are used there, so you don't just have to go with what you see, although that's not a bad idea. And you might be able to Google the information and find when the piece was written, which will usually be when the album came out, if it was a modern piece on an album. Okay, we're not going to listen to the whole 10 minutes. We'll just listen to a little bit of it. that probably should be good. All right, so the piece there was Lingus by Snarky Puppy. Did anybody find when it was composed, the year? 2014? Okay, that makes sense. For era, when we're talking about the different eras in music history, we'll be talking about like the classical era, the Baroque era, and places like that. You'll put era. For this, you can just put modern, or 21st century if you want there. The instruments and ensembles, that should have been kind of obvious. So if it's something like this, you'll want to list some of the instruments: guitars, keyboards, drums, saxophone, trumpet, things like that. If it's like an orchestra, you'll put it's a full orchestra. You don't have to list every single instrument of the orchestra. Or if it's a string quartet, you can just put string quartet or something like that. Okay? These last two questions, that's opinion. That's completely up to you. So once you get that typed out, you'll just hit submit down here, and you'll be good to go. Okay? If you're still typing or something, go ahead and continue to type it up. If you have any questions, let me know. I'll answer them real quick before we move on. Okay, I'll go ahead and continue on. Again, if you're still finishing that one up, it's not a big deal. Just keep on typing and hit submit when you're done. I want to show you a couple more things in the course material section, and then we'll talk in depth about these performance assessments, which is, I'm sure, the big question that you have today. Number one is lecture videos. I am recording at least one of my Monday, Wednesday, Friday sessions every time we meet. And I'm going to put those on YouTube and make them available to you. So you can either subscribe to the YouTube channel if you want, which is it's just UACCM Music. Just click that at Blackboard because I'm a genius. I follow a lot of stuff if you can't tell. I'm also a huge nerd if you can't tell. All right, so USCCM Music is our YouTube channel, and I've got a couple of playlists. The TR lectures is Tuesday, Thursday classes, so they're different times. And then Fall 2020 lectures, I'm going to change that to say Monday, Wednesday, Friday lectures. So that will be every lecture that we do in class. So if you miss a day, you can go and find it there. All right? While I'm here, a little bit of self-promotion. You can go to my YouTube channel and you can hit subscribe and you can listen to a bunch of weird electronic music that I produce.
What's your name?
If you search for Logan Jacob Music or Logan J. Smith, you should see this beautiful picture of me. I took that picture right outside of Sport Clips. I got a haircut that I was real happy about, so I went ahead and took a picture of it. So the next time I went in, I could say, do my hair like that. They've never done it like that again. Also, if you have Spotify or Apple Music or Google Play Music, I released an album this summer on all of those platforms called Soliloquy in C minor. It's weird electronic music, but if you're into that kind of thing, go check that out. I jumped my subscriber. I've bumped up by almost 200 subscribers in the last couple of days. So I really just started doing the channel in February or so. So we're well on our way to monetization. So I'm very happy about that. But it's mostly little like tutorials and stuff about making music on iOS, things like that. And then some weird, this is a scary one that I put up the other day called The Weight of Shadows. It's real creepy. It's a lot of fun. Okay, that's the end of my self-promotion for today. Go back to our class. This is 10 a.m. and we are in student preview, still good. Okay, the last thing that I want to talk about today in our remaining 10 minutes of class is the performance assessment assignments. Okay, these are the biggest assignments that you'll do this year. Each of them is worth 10% of your final grade. Okay, they are a big deal. You need to do them. All right, you may not think 10% is that much, but if you're hanging on with a 75, and it gets to November 26th and you suddenly realize, oh crap, I didn't do those performance assessment assignments. Well, now you have a 55% in the class. Okay, it's a big deal. Get them done. The people that pass this class with ease are the people that do these assignments, and especially the ones that get it done early. All right, they're not due until, I think it's November 26th. It's somewhere around in there that they're due. So you've got plenty of time to do them, and I promise you they'll only take you about an hour each to do them. And most of that is just listening to something. Okay, so the way these work, if you go into the performance assessments folder, you'll find the 2 documents with instructions there, but then you'll also find the guidelines and instructions document, which looks like this. This has everything you need to know. So if you forget everything I'm about to say in the next 10 minutes, find it here. Okay? So for this class to qualify for the Arkansas Credit Transfer System as a music appreciation class, I have to do this assignment. You have to do this assignment. Usually what that means is you need to go and listen to 2 concerts throughout the semester. And they have to be either classical or jazz or Broadway style music. Okay? That's normally. If this were a normal semester, that would be the expectation. Now, obviously, with things being as they are, a lot of concerts aren't taking place. There's still a lot of colleges that are online only, and that's usually where people go and see these. I know the Arkansas Symphony is not doing any live concerts until at least January of 2021. So things are a little bit up in the air. So I've modified this assignment for you, and trust me, be glad you are taking this semester because it makes life a lot easier for you. Instead of having to go and attend a live concert, you just have to listen to a live concert and watch a video of it. Okay? So that makes things a lot easier for you. Number one, that means that you don't have to necessarily worry about going and finding a concert to go to because I have a list of all the appropriate videos that you can use. Okay? That does limit you a little bit because of the way that I'm doing it. Just to make things easier for all of us, you have to use one of the videos that's linked here in this document. Okay? So there are 2 performance assessments. One of them deals with music written before 1900, and the other one deals with music written after 1900. And I've already divided the list of videos you have to watch up so that you know that you're okay. All right? So November 20th, sorry, not 26th. So November 20th is when both these assignments are due. They're 20% of your final grade. They're 100 points apiece. And it's pretty obvious how they work. So the acceptable performances. For performance assessment 1, you can choose any of these 15 links from here up. Okay? They're at least 20 minutes long. Some of them are a little bit longer. You need to watch at least 20 minutes of them. Okay? These aren't short, just like one song like we just listened to. They're longer pieces of music. I do have them split up by genres. So the first one is a ballet. So it's actually, you can see the ballet. If you're interested in dance, you might want to watch that one. These are orchestra or chamber orchestras, which means like smaller, like a trumpet solo or a piano solo or a string quartet or something like that. And then these down at the bottom are choir and opera. So if you were in choir, if you're a vocalist and you prefer to listen to that, you can listen to choir and opera down here. Does that make sense? Most of them are YouTube. These 2 that are Facebook are actually videos from UCA from last semester. All of these are within the last year. So they're modern recordings. They're good quality recordings. A lot of them are from colleges, from places like the University of North Texas, which has the best music program in the country, Eastman College of Music, the University of Michigan, Michigan State University, some of the best music colleges around the country. So a lot of them are students that are your age performing these pieces of music. There are a couple of videos from other professional orchestras. The San Francisco Orchestra, for example, puts a lot of their music on YouTube. The London Symphony Orchestra does as well. So if they have access to it on YouTube, then I will include that link as well. Okay? For performance assessment 2, you'll want to choose between these 15 videos. This is all music written after 1900. So if you were a kid, like I was, and you want to listen to cool band music, you've got 5 videos to choose from here. Most band music that college and high school bands will play was written after 1900. So in fact, some of these are brand new pieces of music. They're music that was written in the last couple of years by band composers. And then I've got choir, a few choir videos, and then orchestra and chamber ensembles down here. You have to choose from these videos. Pop music, rock music, rap, country, that's not going to count for these assignments. It has to be one of these quote-unquote classical pieces of music. Okay? If you do have if you have a friend that's at Tech and they happen to be having a band concert and you want to use that for performance assessment too, that's fine. Shoot me an email, get my approval first, and then I'll let you do that. So if you're going to go to a live performance anyway, then I'm okay with it. But again, it has to be either classical or jazz. Okay? Now, to complete these assignments, you click on Performance Assessment. So in this case, this is Performance Assessment 1. And you open up the document. It's got an article for you to read to kind of give you an idea of what you're listening for as you're watching. And then you've got the questions down here. And you'll just answer these questions. Now, these do need to be answered in complete sentences. Okay, it's not an essay form, it's not a report, but it does need to be, these do need to be answered in complete sentences where it makes sense to do so. Okay, in question 1, where it says, what is the name of the artist or ensemble you saw? Make sure that you're listing the ensemble. And if it asks you what the composer was, make sure you're listing the composer, not the conductor. Okay? So if you read the descriptions, a lot of times you'll be able to see that. Okay? And if you have questions, ask me. I'm here to help you. All right? I would also like for you, if you don't mind, somewhere on this document to paste a link to the video that you watched, just so I can go back and reference it if I need to. Make sense? So you'll do those assignments. Again, you'll answer everything, you'll save your document, and then you'll upload it back into Blackboard by hitting Browse My Computer and attaching it that way. You'll hit Submit. That 100 points will be done, and you won't have to worry about that 10% of your grade. If you do something wrong and you submit it early, then I'll give you a chance to do it again. I'll give you the chance to correct it. But you have to have submitted it at least a week before it's due for that to be an option. Okay? Yes?
And all these we can do these anytime we want to.
You can do them starting right now. If you want to go and do them over the lunch break, that's fine. Do whatever you want. Okay? And you have all the way until November 20th. Don't wait until the last minute. I know your teachers always say that for these long-term assignments, and because I said that, now you're going to because it's a challenge. Okay? Do yourself a favor. Go ahead and get them done as quickly as you can. Any questions about performance assessments? Okay, if you have any questions for me, you can come and ask me. If you're in the Collaborate session and you have a question, go ahead and type it there, and I'll try to answer it as soon as the kind of noise clears out. So Destiny, if you'll just give me a minute, I'll answer in just a second.
These chairs.
Yep.
When it comes to the exams and the Swan lockdown browser, I have a Chromebook, but I have a regular PC at my house.
Yeah, you can just do it.
So I can just go home and do it.
Yep.
Okay, I didn't know if we had to do it in class.
No, not at all.
I did not submit this. It more than put it at all. It like did it the first time and then it said, I'm sorry. It said it was unable to submit and now it just won't let me click it.
Okay.
I took a picture of my answer. So.
You did, okay. So what I would do is, it may be an internet thing or something, try refreshing the page and see if the option pops up, and you may have to type your answer in again.
I think I pasted it. Oh, that's the comment.
There you go.
Thank you.
All it spells, just refresh the page. Yes, ma'am.
So the only time you want us to use the respondents is for taking putting your test, right?
Correct. That's it.
Thank you.
Morgan, yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Destiny, that's a good question. If you do them early, if you do the performance assessments early, will we wait to grade them, or will I go ahead and grade them? I will grade them within a week of you turning them in. It may not be immediately, but I'll get them done early. I'm not going to wait until November to grade something that you turn in this week. All right. Anybody else in Collaborate have any questions? Okay. If not, you are free to go. Thank you guys, and have a great day.
Hello, Mr. Smith.
Hey, good morning.
I'm the first one today. I made sure I wasn't late.
There you go.
Somebody told